Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Mandy, the Handmade Homeschooler, and today we're going to be talking about my 2022 curriculum buying strategy. We really have to be mindful this year of everything that we're buying. Everything is more expensive right now, so I had to change my whole strategy when it came to buying curriculum this spring. So I'm going to tell you all about that, the 4 steps that I took to really maximize my return and everything like that. Before I get into the video, make sure that you hit the like and the subscribe button, and down below in the description box I have a link to our free Facebook group for homeschooling parents, and we're posting about all kinds of curriculum deals and things like that in there, so if you need any of that, make sure that you go ahead and check that out. So this year really felt a bit different. The finances in my family are changing a little bit, and on top of that, we have a serious economic issue right now, right? So everything from books to supplies to shipping is probably going to be a little bit different than it was in previous years because everything is more expensive, especially if you're buying things new. What I typically do every year is I buy new curriculum for my oldest child, and then I keep it and pass it down to my youngest child, and then I sell it. And when I buy those things new, I can usually maximize the return that I get on those items because they weren't previously owned. So with me being the only owner, and we usually take pretty good care of our materials, I'm usually gonna get my money's worth back on sites like eBay and things like that when I go to sell the curriculum. But this year, things are changing. So I really had to rethink that whole strategy and how I was going to go about this to make sure that I got the most bang for my buck and that I could resell it at a good rate. So just like any other year, this year in this aspect wasn't different as far as the prep. So the first thing that I always do is I drag out all the boxes of curriculum because my kids are 3 school years apart from each other. Or no, 4. They're 4 school years apart from each other. With them being 4 school years apart, I have a lot of curriculum around that is waiting to be passed down. And the first thing that I do is I take all of those boxes out and I start going through everything that I need for my youngest child for the grade that he's going into, and I set that off to the side. And then I put the boxes back, and then I start going through all those materials. So right now he's going to be going into 6th grade, so I find everything for grade 6 and I set it into a pile, and then I start going through it and deciding, are we gonna use this, are we not gonna use this? And then I have basically a sell pile and a keep pile. And anything that I'm selling, I'm gonna go ahead and put on eBay. My living room is a mess from all the eBay boxes right now. And anything that we're gonna keep, I put on the bookshelf for the coming school year, just to as a reminder of, okay, this is what we're going into. So most of the stuff that I had for 6th grade we will be using, but there are going to be a few things that we are going to get that is a bit different. And you guys will see all of that in the new video that I create every spring, summer-ish time when I do the big curriculum review. Those are always usually my highest watched videos, and I know you guys anxiously await these videos. I'm almost done. I'm just waiting on a few more things to arrive, and then I will start filming those. Go back over that. The first thing I do is I go through what I have and I see what we're going to use. It's kind of like the same thing before you go to the grocery store. You're going to look and see what's inside your pantry and try to see if you can make any meals out of what you have so you don't spend as much. It's the same concept. So the next thing I do is I make a list, and basically it's like a wish list of everything that I want and need for the school year. And that's what I did this year as well. I had 2 running lists, one for my oldest child who will be going in 10th grade and one for my youngest who will be going into 6th grade. I make sure that I have the bare essentials and then things that I want to add on. So things that might not be exactly necessary, but things that my kids probably want. And then that way I have kind of a guide as to, okay, I absolutely have to get these items. So I make sure that I have the big 4, history, math, science, and language arts. So I make sure that those immediately go on there first. And then of course we add in Bible, and then any elective courses like art, music, and high school electives will be next. And that's going to kind of round out that whole year. So I make sure that I have the bare minimum essentials and then kind of like another wish list of add-on things that we would like to have. One of the books that I use as a guide is the Home Learning Year by Year. You guys have seen me use this a lot on Instagram and stuff, and I use that as a guide. And here's the thing, that book is a secular book. I like it. It gives me a really good guideline to go by. However, all of the books in there are going to be secular textbooks, so I typically don't buy any of the actual titles that are in that book, but I take the concepts that they have, like if they're supposed to be learning about, you know, American history, I'll take that as a guide and I will start finding my own resources. See how that works? It's really simple, but a lot of the titles I don't buy, especially when it comes to science and things like that. I will find my own titles for those. You know, I can go to Answers in Genesis and find the same thing, but written from a Christian perspective. So that way I get good titles that line up with our values and with our worldview. So the next thing I do after I have my list is I hit up eBay and all of the used sites for curriculum. So eBay, Rainbow Resource, Thrift Books. I hit up all of those sites and I see everything that I can get used. Now this year, I really had to change this. I typically don't buy a whole lot of used textbooks just so I can get the bigger return. But this year, that changed. So I went to eBay. It was pretty slim pickings over at eBay over the last couple of weeks as far as curriculum. Everybody's still kind of finishing up, so there's not a whole lot listed yet. Now, by the time this video airs and by the time you see it, that might be a totally different story. But the last couple of weeks while I have been preparing, I have not found a whole lot at all. So I actually hit up a local store here, and I was able to find some of the things that I needed that really helped me out. And I was able to get like half, like 50% off of a whole bunch of textbooks that I needed. And that was a huge blessing. I was not expecting to get the deals that I did, and I was able to save about $400 on a whole bunch of things. So that was a huge chunk of change for me. Now there was a couple things that I had to buy new, and that's okay, but this year, especially with the inflation rates the way that they are, we're spending so much more on groceries and just household essentials, gas, electricity, and, you know, feeding 2 hungry teenagers. It gets very expensive very quickly. So I had to really change the way that I did things when it came to buying materials this year. And you know, it's not something that I wanted to do, but you know, it all works out. So I'm not upset about it. We got everything that we wanted and needed. And the only thing I'm gonna have to do now is probably just get some books for my youngest one to read, because he reads as a hobby. He loves classic books, and we've been utilizing our church library a lot recently. He'll probably hit that up all summer. And then some of the titles he can't find there, we're probably just gonna get on Thrift Books and things like that. I think it's actually cheaper to buy them on Thrift Books right now than to drive down to the secondhand store for books here, because it's just so expensive for gas anymore. I would just rather buy them on Thrift Books. It's probably cheaper to pay for shipping at this point, you know, depending on where you live. You know, I mean, especially if you're in some place like California, I can't even imagine what you guys are going through as far as gas and things like that. So anything that you can order is probably much better, especially if you have like an Amazon Prime membership or something and you're not paying for shipping, or if you get free shipping like with a code or something, or if a company's offering free shipping, take it. Now, just as a bonus thing too, a lot of companies right now are going to be running sales. I know Apologia has been running sales, Generations was running a sale. There's a whole bunch of them running sales. So look for the free shipping codes, because a lot of times shipping, especially when you're talking about textbooks, you're looking at like $30 for shipping, sometimes more than that, depending on how much you're buying. I've paid almost $100 in shipping before when I bought some of our larger curriculum boxes. It can get very pricey. So look for free shipping codes. Always look, like say you're shopping at christianbook.com. They usually always have a free shipping code somewhere going on. You just have to Google it. So Google christianbook.com and then hit the space bar and type in free shipping code. I don't think I've ever paid for shipping with them because I always find those codes. So make sure that you go in and look at those because it can save you a lot of money. So the last thing that I do on this list is I fill in everything else that I can't find used or secondhand or that I have to buy new, like workbooks and consumables, and I go and I buy those new. So I'm going to do that over the next week. I think I'm just looking for 2 more items, and one of them is like a handwriting book, so obviously I have to buy that new. But everything else I was actually able to find with either used without written markings or anything like that, or I was able to come up with something else. I was very blessed this year because I was able to save more money this year than I have ever been able to save because I shopped during the sales. I made sure I looked for the promo codes, and I bought a whole bunch of stuff secondhand and used, and I was able to score some really good deals. So make sure that you're doing that. I saved probably at least 40 to 50% total on all of my items this year, and it's because I shop smart. So make sure that you really pay attention. Follow the companies that you're buying from on social media and make sure you sign up for their email lists, because that is where they will tell you if they're running a sale. So like when I run a sale on my pre-K stuff, I always send it out to my email list first and then I'll put it on social media. But make sure that you're signed up for the email list, that way you get the notice first. And just as a note too, for all you new homeschoolers, try to buy early, seriously. It's like Christmas time for all these homeschool curriculum companies. So if you want your stuff by fall and you don't want it to be back ordered, especially with everything that's going on right now with supply issues, please order early. Just take it from me. Order early so you're not scrambling when it comes time for school, because I know some companies have really struggled trying to keep their materials in stock and try to get them out on time. I know a lot of companies who have had issues with that. So please be mindful, take my advice. Just if you're holding back right now and you're not sure if you should just order it now or order it later, order it now. Just trust me. I've run into that issue years prior when there wasn't a supply issue and I was kicking myself over it. So do what you can and really try to shop those sales to get the deals and look for promo codes. That will help you out so much. All right, guys, I hope that my little strategy guide here kind of helps you guys out, especially if you are newer to homeschooling and you're not sure what to do or where to go. As far as used, I like to use eBay. I like to use thrift books, and there's also Rainbow Resource, and there is a huge list of them. We were all talking about this in the Facebook group. That's the link that I talk about down below in the beginning of my videos. We were actually talking about this last week, and there's a thread in there if you want to go check it out of where all the used curriculum stuff is and everybody's favorite used curriculum site. I have seen so many of them that I've never even used before. So go and take a look at those and see what you think. I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and happy homeschooling.